There it is, still an active scene. Police still have the Walmart closed off, and it appears that the Sam's Club area is also being taped off by police, as well as Cielo Vista. Police are urging you not to look for your relatives, your loved ones, your friends at Cielo Vista Mall. They're asking you to instead go to MacArthur Middle School. We have been able to confirm at least 11 people are at Dead Soul Medical Center, with 9 of those 11 patients being in critical condition. You work at the Walmart, the Cielo Vista Walmart, but you were not out work yesterday.
No.
Talk to me about what was your reaction when you heard about what was happening? And there's dozens of people here. We spoke to some of them, telling us they were angry, shocked to hear about the shooting yesterday, saying this does not define El Paso, which is what we've been hearing since yesterday. State leaders are trying to reassure everyone that they're working to prevent another mass shooting in Texas. Tell us what's in the works. Well, at this time, the attorneys say there are more questions than there are answers regarding the death of Jacqueline Cal and the actions taken by Border Patrol. We came to Tornillo today hoping to get a better view of those tents where the children are meant to be housed, but this is as close as we could get with our cameras. If you take a look off in the distance, it might be difficult to tell with our camera, but off to the left of that brown building, you can see that large white tent. According to CBP data released on Tuesday, the greatest increase in the El Paso sector has been in family apprehensions, which is up more than 1,600% compared to this time last year.
I'm doing my cardio portion, so excuse me if I sound a bit out of breath. So what we're talking about right now is the technology tracking of these workouts.
Well, you've heard of staycations, but how about fakecations? A business called Fake a Vacation allows people to do just Glennis says she left Honduras with her daughters, ages 4 and 14, because of violent threats against her family. Her 4-year-old has special needs. Glennis asked their faces not be shown for safety reasons. We've shown you these images of migrants under the Paso del Norte bridge. Glennis and her daughters were there. After some time in CBP custody, she was told they were being sent to Mexico despite her pleas for her special needs daughter.
I tried to explain to them, but they told me I had to explain it to a judge because they weren't authorized.
This case is an example of a policy enforced by the Department of Homeland Security. The Migrant Protection Protocols policy, known as Remain in Mexico, was first rolled out at the San Isidro Port of Entry in California. It has since expanded to include the El Paso sector. According to DHS, it's meant to reduce the number of people taking advantage of the immigration system, but a local attorney says it's a violation of due process.
Is an assault on our asylum laws.
Linda Rivas, Executive Director at Las Americas Immigrant Advocacy Center, represents Glennis. She says MPP is forcing migrants to wait in an unknown country that has been proving dangerous. It's also creating other challenges.
How can we be able to properly represent somebody when they are staying in Mexico?
In Glennis's case, Rivas says she should not have been subjected to the program because DHS's own policy excludes the vulnerable population. Glennis and her daughters were released last week and are now heading to Florida. But it's a journey she says was difficult.
Fleeing your home country is not easy, and I say that because it's very painful.
Children now!
Step after step, holding hands and chanting. Immigration advocates protesting the White House's zero-tolerance policy. With her 2 kids and an immigrant herself, Rosa Avila is marching for the children who she says are innocent. People from near and far denouncing what they call an inhumane and immoral practice.
You can't just sit there and do nothing.
Hundreds of people, from kids to adults, marching in the desert heat with one message: stop the separation of families. The demonstration, organized by the Border Network for Human Rights, comes as hundreds of children are being held in tent cities.
Our aim is to stop the incarceration of children now.
The protesters marching more than a mile, stopping in front of the center where parents who've been separated from their kids may be held. Not only demanding justice, but reminding supporters to keep fighting and make their voices heard during the elections.
Democracy is not a spectator sport. If you are not registered to vote, go register.
About a 4-hour drive east from the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso is Presidio, Texas. With a population of a little more than 4,000 people, this border city is what you'd imagine as the Wild Wild West.
The Presidio station is probably the best well-kept secret in the entire Border Patrol.
So we hit the road to find out more about this best-kept secret. From San Diego to the Rio Grande Valley, the Big Bend sector is responsible for 25% of the southwest border. That's more than 500 miles. The Presidio station is responsible for just under 114 miles. That's the second most in the entire southwest border. According to testimony from the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the Border Patrol reports remote stations like this one present retention challenges. The agents in Presidio say the distant location of their station works in their favor.
I think spending a year or two or more here gives you more experience than stations that are bigger or closer to a city.
The reason why? Less competition to get that extra certification. One example, Horse Patrol. Horses have been used to patrol the border in Presidio since 1924. 95 years later, and they're still a vital asset of the work that's done here. The Horse Patrol training program is one of the most difficult and also one of the most sought out by Border Patrol agents.
I selected basically Presidio for obviously the outdoors here, and for one, Horse Patrol was one of the biggest reasons.
David Vasquez joined Border Patrol in 2015 and already is part of the Horse Patrol unit, an assignment that would take much longer to accomplish in a larger station.
You're going to learn a lot when you're out here.
Given the terrain of this border sector, ATVs are a vital aspect of the job.
It's a lot different here. It's not a concrete jungle.
Presidio is Eduardo Flores' first station. He's been an agent for 7 years and is not only certified in both Horse Patrol and ATVs, but he's also an ATV instructor.
I probably wouldn't have been able to do that anywhere else, so I'm very fortunate in that aspect.
In larger Border Patrol stations, an agent may have to wait years before becoming ATV certified. In smaller stations, like here in Presidio, an agent could be assigned straight out of the academy. Despite all the opportunities available in remote towns, recruiting for major cities is tough. According to Customs and Border Protection, in May, Border Patrol had nearly 19,500 agents on board, which is almost 7,000 below the target level.
We're looking to recruit a lot more.
Presidio has the only port of entry within the Big Bend sector. Unlike El Paso, there is no border barrier here. It's just the Rio Grande, the desert, and the mountains. Agents rely on a more old-school type of patrol.
Of course, they have different ways they try and hide the sign sometimes. So over here you have Mexico. This is the Rio Grande River. And if you see on this side here, you have the sign leading up to the river.
Just like the rest of the southern border, Presidio is seeing an increase in apprehensions. The patrol agent in charge says a busy month is about 100 apprehensions. In the month of May, they had well over 700.
When agents leave here, I would be willing to say that they can process just as good, if not better, than any agents anywhere.
Agent Boyle says promotion opportunities also come quicker at a smaller location. He says more than 10% of agents at the Presidio station have been promoted this year.
We like to say a lot of times that here at the Presidio station, we're building the future leaders of the Border Patrol.
When you say Presidio, many people wouldn't be able to point it out on a map. Perhaps one of the reasons recruiting to the station is difficult. As illegal border crossings continue to rise, what they need is more manpower.
Being a smaller station and being so remote, we don't get the number of people that the larger stations do, and it's actually kind of sad when you say nowhere. That that's literally where we are, but it's a hidden gem out here.